Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some news coming out from Russia, and we're going to be talking about Vladimir Putin, the president, here in this video. We've got a crazy story that just recently on Wednesday, he was sitting down with some international journalists, having an interview, kind of discussing this war in Ukraine and how the West is starting to provide long range weapons to strike Russian territory with them. Well, he's now threatening and warning that Russia will start arming Western enemies with long range missiles. And they could use these to start striking Western targets. Now, this is absolutely huge. Major escalation. We don't know for sure if they're going to do this, but he's warning that they're going to. So, most likely, it looks like they may start doing this. And I think this is a warning to the West to tell them to stop allowing strikes inside of their territory. But I reported 2 strikes on Russian territory just over the weekend. There was one on Sunday, I think, and then one on Friday of just this past week. So major escalation here. And we know also we've got news that looks like there's going to be a nuclear submarine heading over to Cuba right now near the United States, just off the coast of Florida. And also there's going to be naval vessels from Russia's fleet and also aircraft, and they're going to be doing major military exercises in the Caribbean close to the United States. And I think this is once again another message to the West, also with sending that nuclear capable submarine over near the United States is a major nuclear threat to the United States, to warn them and let them know that Russia's not messing around here. At least in my opinion, that's why they're sending this nuclear submarine over here. But yeah, we've got lots of information to be going over here. I want to share some news with you. So let's talk some more about this. I've got an article here on Politico. It says Putin threatens to arm West's enemies with long-range missiles. The threatened tit for tat comes as Russia is expected to deploy warships and aircraft in the Caribbean. It says here Russia could arm the West's enemies with long-range missiles if Ukraine uses NATO-supplied weapons to strike Russian territory, Russian President Vladimir Putin warned Wednesday. Several countries that have provided long-range weapons to Ukraine, including the United Kingdom and United States and Germany, have given Kyiv permission to use them to attack targets across Russia's border in recent weeks. It marks a change of heart for Ukraine's allies, which had previously provided military aid on the proviso that the weapons weren't used to hit Russia directly, and follows Moscow's recent territorial gains in Ukraine's northeastern region of Kharkiv. If someone thinks it is possible to supply such weapons to a war zone to attack our territory and create problems for us, why don't we have the right to supply weapons of the same class to regions of the world where there will be strikes on sensitive facilities of those countries? Putin said at a rare press conference with foreign journalists in Moscow on Wednesday. So that's just absolutely huge. He's playing this chess game and saying, well, if you guys can do this, then it makes it okay for us to do the same thing. So if you want to allow strikes on our territory, well, we'll do the same thing. We'll allow strikes on your territory by using basically proxies, just like the West is using Ukraine as a proxy. Well, Russia will do the same thing and arm some of their allies that would be technically enemies to the United States or to Western partners, and then allow them to start striking targets on their territory. So it's essentially what we have here is just a giant proxy war all over the world. And think about some of these countries that could be hit by long-range missiles in the West that are typically not used to this, okay? This could be major escalation. And this could also cause international problems around the world with multiple countries. Now we'd have more countries getting involved here, launching strikes on Western nations. And this could just turn into a massive, just a big mess, okay? Big mess and spiral of out of control containment of this issue. And it would just get really bad quickly. So that is the response that can be asymmetric. We will think about it, the Russian leader added. U.S. Senator Mike Rounds, a member of the Armed Services Committee, confirmed this week that Kyiv has used U.S.-supplied weapons to strike targets in Russia, but declined to say more. The threatened tit-for-tat from Putin comes as Moscow is expected to deploy warships and aircraft for military exercises in the Caribbean in the coming weeks, according to the Associated Press. So yeah, just like I talked about, they're going to be doing military exercises in the Caribbean, close to Cuba too. And we know for sure that Cuba has announced that they've confirmed that these naval vessels and aircraft and this nuclear powered submarine is going to be heading over there near their area. Okay. So, very, very big news, guys. Lots of escalation here. And like I've been saying, this whole thing continues to spiral out of control. And we are seeing more and more escalation every day and less de escalation. Okay. So, it's getting very, very close to something major snapping here or breaking. And there's going to be a major reaction from some sort of country, especially like I can't imagine Western countries allowing this, allowing other nations that are enemies to the United States. Let's say Yemen, for example. Yemen, supposedly, they claim they attacked the Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier recently. We don't know for sure if it was actually hit. My thoughts are most likely it probably wasn't, but who knows? We'll never really know if it was hit. Let's say the Yemen Houthis start getting some of these long range missiles. They start targeting more ships with them or targeting warships. This could just get really out of control very quickly. And we've already got to, major tensions all around the world, and this is only going to create more of that. So now I want to show you this. This is the video footage. It's 58 seconds long of Vladimir Putin talking about this. It says Putin warns Russia could provide long-range weapons to others to strike Western targets. So this was talked about on Wednesday, but widely reported yesterday on June 6th. So let's talk about this and look this over real quick.
Мы думаем на тему о том, что если кто-то считает возможным поставлять такое оружие в зону боевых действий для нанесения ударов по нашей территории и создания проблем для нас, то почему у нас нет права поставлять наше оружие такого же класса в те регионы мира, где будут наноситься удары по чувствительным объектам тех стран, которые делают это в отношении России? Конечно, подобные действия будут окончательно, они сейчас уже дошли до высшей степени деградации, но будут окончательно разрушать международные отношения и будут подрывать международную безопасность. И в конечном итоге, если мы видим, что эти страны втягиваются в войну против нас, а это и есть их прямое участие в войне против Российской Федерации, то мы оставляем за собой право действовать аналогичным образом. Но мы думаем на тему о том.
Isn't that absolutely insane, guys? I understand his point here. If the West is providing weapons and giving them to Ukraine to strike targets inside of Russian territory, why should Russia not be able to do the same thing? Provide weapons to the Yemen Houthis, or who knows, maybe even Cuba. We could have a Cuban Missile Crisis kind of situation all over again, or at least something similar to that. And, imagine strikes being launched onto the United States, okay? Maybe Florida or who knows, maybe anywhere else, so somewhere on the East Coast. And this could be absolutely huge. And again, this is like he's saying, destroy international relations. And he says here, undermine international security. So this could get really out of hand quickly. And honestly, I was not expecting a move like this. But this is totally a chess move right here. And it's going to get things, very crazy and out of control very quickly. So that's why I wanted to show you that. And finally, I want to show you one last thing. We're going to talk a little bit about these military exercises that are going to be going on near Cuba, and also this Yezin class nuclear submarine that's going to Cuba as well. Okay, so let's look this over. From Bricks News, Russia deploys Kazan Yezin class. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Nuclear submarine to Cuba near the United States border. So here's a picture of it right here. Okay. So this is a nuclear capable sub. It could launch, I think it's got like 32, it could launch like 32 nuclear warheads, I believe, or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how many, but somewhere around that. But it says right here, Russia sends Yezin class nuclear submarine to Cuba. Russia's deployed the Kazan, a state-of-the-art Yezin class nuclear-powered attack submarine to Cuba as part of a naval group that will visit the port of Havana from June 12th to June 17th. Okay, so that's coming up very soon, like in a week. The Kazan is part of a new class of vessels intended to replace Russia's aging Soviet-era nuclear submarines. It is capable of carrying and firing nuclear cruise missiles. This deployment comes amid heightened tensions between Russia and the West, particularly over the conflict in Ukraine. Russia has criticized the U.S. and NATO for providing military aid to Ukraine. Some analysts see this move as a show of force by Russia aimed at sending a message to the US and its allies. Cuba has historically been a close ally of the Soviet Union and later Russia. The U.S. has downplayed the significance of the Russian naval group's visit to Cuba, saying it does not pose a threat to the region. However, the deployment of a nuclear powered submarine close to Cuba is a notable development. This is not the first time Russian naval ships have visited Cuba, but the inclusion of a Yasin class submarine is a new development. It remains to be seen how the U.S. and its allies will respond to the latest move by Russia. So, obviously, very provocative moves happening here all over the world. We know that Russia's been speaking repeatedly, threatening nuclear strikes on other countries, and even I just reported their state TV news hosts. They're saying the same thing, that they'd strike other countries with nuclear weapons. So, what we are continuing to see here again is just more escalation, and now this nuclear powered submarine, nuclear capable too, going to Cuba. Definitely a big message to the West and to the United States, because obviously the United States is the biggest sponsor here of allowing strikes inside of Russian territory. Okay, once Joe Biden gave the green light, that's when lots of other countries will start to follow, and we started to see that. Same thing with these F-16. Some countries are allowing Ukraine to use their weapons and their fighter jets to start striking Russian territory. Excuse me. So yeah, this is just continuing to get crazier and crazier and crazier. And I really wonder how far we can get before something major snaps here, and we have a huge reaction from either Russia or from the West. Okay, let's say Russia starts arming other countries and they start striking, Western nations. This could be completely out of control quickly, and we could see a major response. So we'll have to see what happens here. We'll see if Russia actually starts doing this and starts supplying weapons to Western enemies. But let me know what you think down below. I'm curious, what countries do you think Russia would start doing this with? The two that are on the top of my list would be Yemen and potentially Cuba. But I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on Cuba if they would do that. But aside from that, I haven't really thought of many other countries. But apparently, there's several countries on his list that they could start doing this. Maybe North Korea, maybe Iran, maybe some of the bigger countries, or maybe some more countries throughout the Middle East. That could be huge too, because we know that a lot of U.S. bases are in the Middle East. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. Share your thoughts and concerns and opinions down in the comments section. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.